Welcome back, Shark King. So you guys blew up this video, so now it's time for a sequel. So the video in question, we went through the entire PS Plus extra catalog to see how many games were above 80 according to Metacritic. But a lot of great and amazing games didn't make it to the list because they had a 79 or lower. So in this video, we're going to look at the games that almost made it, and let's be honest, should have made it. Metacritic ratings are finicky because some games' ratings change from month to month, and other great games are stuck with the score they received upon initial release, where the game was a buggy mess and nowhere near finished, but due to the crunch, we're forced to release early to meet quarterly quotas by the ding-dongs up top. So now those great games have awful scores, even though the current status of the game should make it an A+ game. But the reality is, they only got themselves to blame for releasing an unfinished game. Or in some cases, trying to add microtransactions to a game. So if you play a game that seems like an 85, but the score is unusually low, you can rest assured that the ratings your game got was based on the game's first impression. Anyways, let's get back to the sequel. So today we're going to dive back into the extra catalog and focus on the games that were almost 80. Games ranging anywhere from 75 to 79. A lot of your favorite games are resting here. Alright, so now that we're back here in the extra catalog, we're going to do what we do best, and that is to sort by alphabetical. Okay, now that we're sorted by alphabetical, we're going to go through all the games again, but we're going to skip all the games that were 80 and above because we already covered them in the last video, except for, of course, if there are brand new games added to the list. So just looking at it now, a space for the Unbound was just added this month, and it is an 85. We're not here to talk about the 80+, but I will mention them if they are brand new and they weren't in the last video. So let's go back up to the top. The first game on the list is the first one, 1111, Memories Retold. This is a great game about World War I from two different sides, neither American, which is quite rare. You play as a German and a Canadian, both people reluctant to be in the war. It's very emotional and it's just a really nice story, starring Elijah Wood. 1111 has a rating of 7.7. Wait, 711, 711? Okay. Moving on. Oh, this one's kind of interesting. The next game on the list is A Hat in Time. And if you remember from the last video, A Hat in Time was the first that we talked about because it had 80. So a month later, A Hat in Time score is down to 79. So now it's in this video. And then lots of great games. We're going to skip them. We're going to go to Alien Nation. Alien Nation got a 79. Almost an 80. So close. It almost made the last video. The next one on the list is Anodyne. Anodyne got a score of 75. I'm going to have problems pronouncing this, but it is Assetto Corsa Competizione, the official GT World Challenge game. I've heard good things about this. If you like racing games, it has a score of 77. The next one on the list is Back 4 Blood. This is from the makers of Left 4 Dead, so if you like those games, you'll like these ones. It's great for co-op shooting. Back 4 Blood has a score of 77. The other game that didn't make the list last time was Battle Chasers Night War, which has a score of 75. A couple of you commented on this next one and really recommended it. It's Bomber Crew. Bomber Crew has a score of 75. And a classics that a lot of people talk about is Bug Snacks. Maybe not so much anymore. It has a score of 75. Lots of 75s up here. And I got another one right here. Call of the Sea got a score of 75. I played this one. It was a 3D puzzler. The story was really good. Pacing was a bit slow, I would say, but the world building was kind of fun. Tied with Call of the Sea is, surprisingly, Car Mechanic Simulator. I tried playing this one. I could not get into it. But right next to it was a great game. Carto had a score of 75. This is a game that's very unique. What happens in Carto is you're a cartographer. It's a charming top-down puzzle adventure where you literally rearrange the map pieces to solve puzzles and progress. It's really cool. It has a really heartwarming story as well. Carto has a score of 79. The next one on the list is Cat Quest 2. Cat Quest 1 didn't make it, I'm sorry. But Cat Quest 2 has 76. It has real-time combat and cat puns. You can play solo or co-op. Next on the list is Chess Ultra. It almost had an 80. Chess Ultra has a 79. I don't think I have to say much about that one. Okay, and next we got 2 brand new games this month. It's Coffee Talk and Coffee Talk Episode 2. So Coffee Talk, the original, has a score of 76, and Coffee Talk 2 has a score of 79. Then we get to Concrete Genie. This was an essential game like 4 or 5 years ago, so I played it a while ago. It's pretty charming and kind of short too. I think it's only like 5 to 8 hours. It has a score of 75. The next one on the list is a Final Fantasy game. I know, strange, they usually have 80s and 90s. But Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion has a score of only 78, which is pretty high in this list, but not for Final Fantasy. And on the next row, we got a lot of plus 80 and 90 games over here, which I'm not going to go over. And I know you guys really wanted me to include Days Gone in this list, but it only has a score of 71, so it doesn't even make 75 to 79 list. I know it's not that bad of a game. It's actually a great game. But yeah, sad to say, Days Gone only has a score of 71. I know the user score has way higher, but again, it got released a buggy mess and then they fixed it afterwards. So it doesn't deserve the 71. It should really be in the 80s. According to my video, I have to stick by the Metacritic rating, so it doesn't even belong in this video. I'm sorry. I played it, I love it, but the criteria for this video is 75 to 79. Sorry, Days Gone. Your days are gone. How did Dead by Daylight do? Oh my god. I honestly thought Dead by Daylight was going to be better, but Dead by Daylight has a score of 64. Ouch. I thought it'd be way higher than that. All right, so moving on. The next game on our list is Deadcraft. Deadcraft has a score of 77. And under that, we have Death Squared. Now, this game I really didn't understand at first. I played it. I couldn't get into it. You control each character with the left and right stick. So like the blue one with the right stick, the red one with the left stick. And you kind of trap each other. It's a really fun game to play, but it's not as fun as co-op. If you play this co-op with another player, this is where the game truly shines, because you could play up to 4 players, as you see here. It has 2 voices. One of them is like an AI, like a GLaDOS type, and the other one kind of sounds like Chris Pratt. Death Squared has a score of 78. And here comes the ads. Okay, the next one on the list is Deceive Inc. I believe this was also an essential game quite a while ago. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like an Among Us type of game. It has a rating of 75. A lot of people really love this next game. No, not that one. Yeah, there we go. Deliver Us the Moon. Deliver Us the Moon has a rating of 77, and it's basically a sci-fi thriller where you get to go to the moon and explore an abandoned lunar base to save humanity by bringing them energy. It has a lot of puzzle solving and some traversal, and it's great at atmospheric storytelling. The next game after that is probably the most requested one in the comments, and it's Detroit Become Human. People were mad that this didn't make it to the list. Yep, double checking Metacritic, it has a score of 78. The users really loved it, 8.7, and it should really be a high game. I don't know why this got such a low rating. It has a very memorable narrative, exploring themes of artificial intelligence and consciousness. Some of the characters are real firecrackers. And similar to the Life is Strange games, the choices you make here dramatically affect the story. You get to play through 3 androids' lives and decide their fates and maybe humanity's. It's an amazing game and I highly recommend it. It should not be on this list. It should definitely be in the 80s. The next game should also be in the 80s. It is Doom, the original. Not quite that original. Doom 2016 has a rating of 79. Everyone raves about Doom Eternal, but don't forget the first one. The next one on the list, Dragonstar Varer. Let's just see what this is about real quick. Okay. Okay, this is a kid's show. Okay, calm down. Dragonstar Varer has a score of 75. The next one I believe just joined us on Extra. It's Dying Light 2. People are really loving that one. It has a score of 76. And the people who love these games love them a lot, and it's the Earth Defense Force games, the highest of which has a rating of 75. And that is this one right here. Earth Defense Force World Brothers. If you like Souls-likes, you'll like this one. It's Eldis Souls. It's really difficult, unless you play Souls-like. Eldis Souls is a challenging boss rush Souls-like with stunning pixel art. You have to master the fluid combat mechanic and customize your abilities to take down immortal gods. So if you like Souls-like type games, give this one a try. Eldis Souls has a score of 76. The next one on the list is Everybody's Golf. This is the highest rated golf game. It has a score of 78. Oh, this one just got added. Fist Forged in Shadow Torch. This one actually got a rating of 80. So if you see it real quick, it's about a rabbit with a metal hand. It just looks so fun. I'm definitely going to give this one a try. But again, it has a score of 80. It shouldn't belong in this list, but since it wasn't in the last video, I'm including it here. Forager has a score of 78. The next game on the list is For the King with a score of 79. And after that, and then more 2D shoot-em-ups, we have Fury Unleashed. Fury Unleashed, not furries. This is what to expect graphics-wise from the Fury game. Shooting and platforming just like the Contra games. Fury Unleashed has a score of 76. The next one I keep seeing, it's Ho Kom. I have no idea what this game is about. I've tried several times. It was just a bunch of lines. It's kind of hard to get into, but maybe I'll give it a try some other time. Ho Kom has a score of 75. The next one on the list I'm definitely going to try. It's Hotline Miami 2. I loved Hotline Miami 1 a lot, and I think it's time for me to get back into it. Hotline Miami 1 had a score of 85, but Hotline Miami 2 has a score of 75. So I wonder what they've changed that the fans didn't like. And then after that, we got Infinite Mini Golf, another golfing game, surprisingly, with a score of 75. Under that, we have Jurassic World Evolution 2, which also, I believe, was added recently, but I swear it was an essential game a month or two ago. Jurassic World has a score of 78. This game I can't wait to play. I've heard really good things about. Killer Frequency. You play as a late-night radio DJ trying to save people's lives. It's a quirky horror comedy and is highly recommended. Has a score of 78. Right next to it, Killing Floor 2 has a score of 75. And then we get to the Life is Strange games. Now this one you should definitely play because this one is leaving. So Life is Strange Before the Storm and Life is Strange 1, the complete season, are both leaving mid-January. So get playing those right now. So I'm about to start this one. I literally just beat Life is Strange 1 last night. So I'm excited to start this one this week. Before the Storm has a score of 77. Original Life is Strange has a score of 85. And then we get to Life is Strange 2, which has a score of 78. You play as two brothers. But we're going to move on from those. Right under it is Little Big Workshop with a score of 77. And then we have a lot of games that are really highly rated. A lot of these games were in the last video, so we're going to skip all the way to Mortal Shell. Mortal Shell has a score of 76. Below that, it's MotoGP 24, which also has a score of 76. And then Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, which has a score of 77. I really hate that all the trailers for these games don't show gameplay. Like, that's usually a sign that the game is not good, if you're not going to show me what I'm going to play as. There we go. So that's the kind of game Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord is. That's more realistic. There you go. Not bad. Ooh, that looks really fun. Okay, moving on. Bannerlord has a score of 77. Then we have No More Heroes 3 with a score of 75. And under it, we got Observer System Redux. I'm sorry I'm skipping a lot of the games, but this is going to be a really long video if I do a little mini review on every single game. So this game I did play last year, and it was great. It's one of my favorite games I discovered on PS Plus Extra. Basically, if you like Blade Runner, you're going to like this game, with a touch more horror. You're an investigator that gets to tap into people's brains, which is really messed up because a lot of them are on some crazy drugs. That's all I'm going to say about this one. It's pretty scary because the dreams are so messed up. Observer System Redux has a score of 79. Also with a score of 79 is Oddworld Soulstorm Enhanced Edition. And then we get to this one, Outlast 2. I tried playing this game. It was a bit of a slow burn. It's supposed to be scary and everything, but I don't know. I just could not get into it. Maybe it's just the lack of save states and the tendency to repeat certain sections over and over again. I'm just not a fan of those kind of games anymore. I'm sorry. Outlast 2 has a score of 75. The next game on the list is Payday 2. Payday 2 is a cooperative heist shooter where you and your friends pull off elaborate robberies, coordinate with teammates, and escape with the loot. Payday 2 has a score of 79. Right next to it, we have Fogs. What a fun-looking game. It has a score of 78, and it just joined Extra last month. I think this month, actually. Some of you asked about this game, Prey. You were wondering why Prey wasn't in the last video, because it deserves to be. Well, Prey has a score of 79. Let's double check. Honestly, the user score and the critic score are pretty close. 79-80, it's almost unanimous. You're stuck in space on a station overrun by shape-shifting aliens. You know, the usual. Then we have Rebel Galaxy. Rebel Galaxy has a score of 75. Finally, something different. Redux 2. This is basically Wipeout and F-Zero, you know, those ultra-fast anti-gravity racing games from days of past. So if you want something different for your racing games, give this a try. Redux 2 has a score of 76. Speaking of racing, we got Ride 5 with a score of 75. And another racing game, Road 96. Just kidding, this is not a racing game. I know it seems like it, but it's more than it seems. If you like Life is Strange, you'll like these kind of games. A road trip adventure where you attempt to escape a totalitarian government. Each playthrough creates unique stories and encounters. I can't wait to play this game. It looks so fun. Road 96 has a score of 79, but it probably deserves better. Then we have Rogue Book with a score of 78, and Rocky with a score of 76. And then this one, I'm surprised it didn't make it to the 80s list. Hey, why does it show as premium? Did this leave extra already? That's right, it's Sackboy A Big Adventure. Has a score of 79, but honestly thought it would get better. The most surprising thing about this game isn't that PlayStation is finally trying to get a Mario, but its soundtrack. I was not expecting real songs, like popular songs, to show up in this game. And also, sorry Sackboy, but I think Astro is the new mascot for PlayStation. Next, we have Samurai Warrior 5. I don't know what it's about, but has a score of 75. And then Shadow of the Tomb Raider, also with a score of 75. And then moving real fast, Shadow Warrior 2 with a score of 78. I haven't played any of the Shadowrun games, but there's a lot on here, so maybe I should. Then we have Shadowrun Returns with a score of 76. And these games I did try. It's Sniper Elite 4 and 5. I did try Sniper Elite 5 just to try it. It was a huge game. It has that enhanced kill cam and the invasion mechanics. But yeah, it was quite the adventure. Sniper Elite 4 and 5 both have a score of 77. Then we have Stellaris. I don't know what this game is about, but it's the console edition. Stellaris has a score of 78. And then this one kind of looks fun. I'm going to try this one. I think this just came to extra. It's Stick Fight the Game. I heard you play this online. It's a physics-based fighting game. You battle your friends in crazy arenas with wacky weapons and unpredictable environments. It sounds really fun. I can't wait to play. Stick Fight the Game has a score of 76. And then we have Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. I don't know what it's about, but I'm not going to talk about it. It has a score of 77. Just not my cup of tea. The next one's kind of funny. I think these games are also leaving this month. Street Fighter V and Street Fighter V Champion Edition. I already put this one in the last video. It has a score of 82, but this one, not the basic one, not the Championship Edition, has a score of 77. Then we got Surviving Mars with a score of 76. Tales of Kenzera. Zao. It's a Metroidvania inspired by African mythology. Master sun and moon powers while exploring a beautifully crafted world. Honestly, that sounds kind of fun. Okay, that's kind of cool how they're showing behind the scenes. Anyways, the next one on the list is a scary one. We got to go all the way down. Yes, these are scary, but these didn't even make 75. I'm sorry. The Dark Pictures Anthology, I'm sorry. I played all of these games and none of them have even come close to getting a 75. That's right, it's The Evil Within 2. I haven't played this one. I've played the first one. I played it, I think, 2 months ago when it was leaving, and I can't wait to play this one. Hopefully it doesn't leave by next Halloween, because I'm in no rush to play more horror games. I'm already up to my neck in Resident Evil right now. The Evil Within 2 has a score of 76. And then to cleanse our palates, we got The Gardens Between. This is a really cute game. This was one of the first games I played when getting extra because it was only like 2 hours. I think it's 2.5 hours to get the platinum on this game. Probably one of the easiest platinum on the whole service. Basically, you play as a boy and a girl, coming of age story, and one of them controls time and the other one does traversal. And you have to play together and rewind time to solve these fun puzzles. I can't say too much about it because it's a really short game and I don't want to ruin anything. The Gardens Between has a score of 79. And then this one I've been meaning to play. It's The Long Dark. I was going to make a video about all the best winter games and this one was on the list. So if you like winter and you like being lost in the outdoors, play this one. It has a score of 77. And right under that we got The Surge 2 with a score of 75. I'm going to go through them real quick here. We got Tukiden 2 with a score of 77. And then this game I always see. I don't know why. why that picture, I've seen it in so many different places, but I've never played it or even know what the game is about. It's Tropico 5. People love these kind of games. Has a score of 75. And then we are at Until Dawn, the original. I heard the remaster didn't do that well. Yikes. This is one of the best games in these categories, like the Dark Picture Anthology, the Quarry, that kind of games. Until Dawn, it's starring, what's his face? It's starring Freddie Mercury and the Save the Cheerleader, Save the World girl from Heroes. And it's really fun. Has a lot of twists. The only thing I'm not a fan of is the monsters' textures. I did not enjoy that one bit. Like, they could have easily found a better texture for that and made the monsters look like what they're supposed to. Same with the Quarry. The Quarry did a terrible job with the monsters. I think it was identical to whatever monsters they used in this game, which look nothing like what they're supposed to look like. And keep in mind, these aren't even the same monsters. These are totally different monsters. Maybe they just have like a monster texture that they just put on everything. Not a fan of that, but great story and twists. All right, we're almost done. Next, we got Wild Hearts. I don't know what this game's about, but it has a score of 79. Let's check it out real quick. Is it 2D? Is it 3D? Wow, that actually looks really good. Is that the game? Okay, that's a cutscene. Honestly, I was expecting like pixel art. What is this game? Oh my god. Okay, you know what? This is a cutscene. What's the actual game like? Is it a deck builder? Show me gameplay. Show me gameplay, please. I hate trailers like this. Is that the game? Wow. EA, what are you doing? Stop trying to hide your actual game. Just show me what the game's like. Okay, there we go. Like a whole trailer will show you like 2 seconds of gameplay. Why do they do that? Is that the same game as we saw in the beginning? Wow. It just went into the Nintendo Switch version for some reason. All right, I'm going to have to play this one for realsies and then get some actual game footage to show you guys. But got my interest piqued. Wild Hearts has a score of 79. These ones I'm excited to play. I'm going to play them soon as I'm done a Resident Evil 2. It's the Wolfenstein games. So we got Wolfenstein: A New Order, which has a score of 79. The New Colossus has 87. It was in the last video, but this one has 79. And the Old Blood has a score of 76. I'm excited to play these games. And then the last on the list is Worms. Weapons of Mass Destruction, or Worms of Mass Ding Dongs. I think I actually played this game. I played the original Worms, and then this one was an Essential game way back when. I can't say that I'd recommend it. Let's wrap up by addressing some of the comments in the last video, both good and bad, because that video blew up, and a lot of you were saying the same things. Some of you got mad at me thinking it was my scoring, but it was Metacritic. Some of you got mad at Metacritic and suggested to do user scores instead, so your game would end up on the list. But the thing with user ratings is they're even less reliable because you don't even need to play the game to leave a review. That's why we have perfect 100% score movies coming out before anyone's even seen them. Or in the case of games, review bombs due to a character not being the right color or some other petty thing that doesn't affect gameplay or story at all. Some of you suggested I was too harsh to say anything below 70 is a fail. But again, that's not me. That's literally Metacritic's guide. I mean, they even made it color-coded so it's easy to follow. Games get treated differently than movies. And some of you were just confused. But most importantly, let's give a big, huge shout out to all the positive comments. You guys created such an amazing community here, and I'm so happy that I'm a part of it. You guys are the best. It's so easy to write something negative. In fact, that's what a lot of people do. Only write something when they got something snarky to say. So bravo to you for taking the time to write something nice. You blew up my channel, got me monetized, and now I'm stuck making 2 videos a week, which has actually cut into my actual gaming time, so I'm kind of falling behind now. Thanks for that. So I hope you discovered something new today, and hopefully realized that a perfect A score isn't everything, especially on Metacritic. Again, this isn't my opinion or my personal score, this is just the Metacritic rating. There were many great games that I played that scored even less than 75. Some of them even less than 70. In the end, it all comes down to personal preference and whether you had fun. So the critically acclaimed games from the last video and the ones that almost made it from this video should give you a good general overview of where to start on games that are on PS Plus Extra. Especially if you're like me and you skipped the last generation and the PS5 is your return to gaming. Or PS Plus Extra. Again, the important thing is if you had fun. So, since Extra gives us the freedom to download as many games as we want, don't be afraid to try as many things as possible. Try it for an hour. If the gameplay or story isn't sucking you in, then just move on to the next. There is no buyer's remorse because it costs nothing to download. Leave your favorite game in the comments. Maybe it was on the list, or maybe it was even scored lower than this video's. What was your favorite underrated gems that you played last year? Anyhow, that's it, and until next time, be a friend, and I'll see you again.